Beginning his wrestling career at just 14 years of age, my guest at this time has gone on to become one of the most versatile and exciting athletes in the New Zealand industry today. A former IPW champion, he combines aerial expertise with a solid striking ability. He'll be taking on best friend Dal Knox in the first quarterfinal of the 2007 NZPWI Invitational. Here's Lyte player Roger Ventura. First of all, thanks very much for taking the time to speak to us today. We really appreciate it.
That's fine. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. It's a bummer what happened last night at Fallout. Did you have any idea Alfred Valentine was going to interfere?
Nah, I didn't. I didn't have any idea. People didn't have any idea. But my body didn't have any idea most of all. It's knackered from last night, man. I'm just all bumps and bruises all over my face. It's pretty beat up as well. I got a cut up on my forehead, busted my lip open as well, and I got a graze just under my eye.
Oh, it sounds like you're although, I must say, from what I've heard, it sounds like it was a really good match with Davey.
Oh, up until the ending, I was real happy with it. I watched it on a video. I managed to see it. Somebody filmed it for me.
Yeah. And
I was impressed with the match itself, but the outcome, if I had my way, I'd have it different.
You got your start in NPW at just 14.
That's right, yeah.
How did you manage to get taken on how did you manage to get taken on board at such a young age?
I actually sometimes ask myself that too, because I went into the gym, to the Mania gym, and I asked them, really want to be a wrestler, you guys got to let me in, please. And at first they were kind of like, you a 14-year-old fat kid, what the hell are we going to do with you type of attitude. Because, no one really knew me, so I don't blame them. But Steve Hodgson, he was the guy who had the final say, and he looked me up and down, and he said to me, you're not what we would put in the ring, but, hey, we can change that. You will get bigger, you will get stronger, and you will get older and wiser. So he said, come along and join. And for that, I was really thankful. He's the one that laid down the final word that let me join. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. You were initially, you were trained by the late Steve Hodgson. How do you look back on those early days with him? Oh,
it's like you can't put a price tag on that. I'm eternally grateful for him letting me join. Because all he could have said was, "Bugger off. I'm a wrestling trainer.
Yeah.
I don't need to be spending time babysitting 14-year-old fat kids." But he took me in and he trained me and he taught me, and even up until the last day I spoke to him, which was age ago, it was about 2003.
Yeah.
Last time I spoke to him, maybe even early 2004.
Uh-huh.
He respected me every time I spoke to him, and he was never rude to me, and he was never wrong with me in any way. He was always, treated me like a son and always trained me well. And I just, if I had a chance, I'd really like to, speak to him again and thank him for that, because I wouldn't be here today if he didn't bring that attitude. Even though he accepted me, he could have had a really down attitude with me, and I could have just walked out. But he made the wrestling gym look like a place where I wanted to be at.
Yeah. It's been a great loss for the New Zealand industry.
Definitely.
Yeah. You defeated Davey Deluxio to win the IPW championship when you were just 16. Is that right?
Yeah.
How do you look back on that victory?
Oh, that was awesome. I look back on that match, and I wouldn't change anything in that match. That was just one of the best moments and matches of my whole life. That was great. Everything flowed. Everything went well.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just came together like a puzzle. I don't know if you saw any of the footage or anything, but I was all teary-eyed. I was all after the match. I was trying to hold it back because I was like, nah, I'm from Africa. I got to keep it up. I'm a tough dude. But nah, I couldn't hold it back. My family was in the crowd. My cousins were in the crowd. My uncles, my aunties, and it was just awesome. People standing up, clapping for me. I got the belt with me. I just broke down.
You wouldn't be the first. You wouldn't be the first wrestler to get teary on winning a championship.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you have an interest in mixed martial arts, is that right?
Yeah.
What kind of martial arts training are you most keen on?
Actually, the grappling. Being from a pro wrestling background, I only got into mixed martial arts about 2 years ago. I only started taking it seriously about 1 year ago. But because I had already been pro wrestling with IPW and NPW, I was already a good grappler. So the striking didn't really appeal to me that much. But I've always had a space in my heart for it. I got a cousin who at the moment is he's an NZ champ boxer.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I always did boxing with him as sort of like just a way to keep fit, and I never really took it seriously. But last year, I actually bumped into some old guy. You know, I didn't even know who the hell he was, and comes up to me, he's a Welsh guy, and he goes, "I heard you're a wrestler. Would you be keen for a role in the ring?" And I said to him, I said, "Hey, dog, you know, you look about 492 years old. I'm 19. I don't really, you know, I don't think it's a fair matchup. I'll probably crush you." He goes, "Oh, come on. I won't bite, I promise." And I said, "All right, Dan, let's get in the ring." And we got in a ring, which was a mixed martial arts ring, and they let us use it just so that we could have a spar. And he embarrassed me in front of everyone. He had me tapping out in about 10 seconds. And I just said to him, "Hey, you got to teach me how to do that, man."
Yeah, yeah.
And ever since then, he's been training. His background is jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
Japanese form. And ever since then, I've been training under him for about the last year.
Right. Well, I mean, because you'd always been known as an aerial specialist, but you've been developing a reputation as an effective striker. Would you say that that's brought about the evolution in your style recently?
Yeah, definitely. Like training in the mixed martial arts, I'm getting to meet and train with a whole bunch of different guys. And one of the guys that had a really big influence on as far as the striking goes is a guy by the name of Alex Porter, who's a Muay Thai fighter.
Oh, yeah.
And he actually took me through a lot of striking, mainly kicks, because that's what I mainly wanted to focus on is lower body striking. Because with the upper body, I was always good at grappling, but with as far as weakening the lower body, I wasn't really well in that area. So he took me through that, and that's why if you watch the matches closely, you'll see a lot of my kicks are Muay Thai style kicks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep.
That's all because of Alex here.
Right. You've suffered a fair amount of injury over the years, most notably at Capital Punishment last year in Wellington. How's that affected your passion for the sport?
Oh, actually, I hate it that it happened, but I'm glad it happened at the same time.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, it happened, and the back injury that I got at Capital Punishment kept me out for months, and I couldn't do anything because it was a back injury, and I dislocated a vertebrae in my spine. So I couldn't run because it would upset the vertebrae. I couldn't cycle because the lower body movement would upset the vertebrae. I couldn't wrestle. I couldn't do any weights. So I literally couldn't do anything. Like, you know, you often hear people say, "Oh, I've bunged the old shoulder, so I'm just doing a bit of bike."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you know, that wasn't even the case with me because I hurt the core, so I couldn't do anything.
Must have been really frustrating.
Oh, it was. I was angry. I was sad. I was just and I was just wanting to get back in the ring. Like, I was getting hungrier and hungrier. I know it's a cliche, but that's honestly how I felt. I just could not wait to get back in the ring, and I upped my training. I was training like up to 2-3 times a day, as opposed to the 1 time a day I was when I wasn't injured.
Wow.
As soon as I got healthy again, I started training 2-3 times a day, and I haven't stopped actually. Like, ever since I've come back from my injury, which was last August.
Yeah.
We just passed the 1 year mark, and I haven't stopped training like a madman because that hunger still hasn't worn off.
And you're all okay? You haven't suffered any twinges or setbacks or anything like that?
Not in the back, no. My back's been 100% fine. I've been fighting through other injuries. If you watch any of my matches, which took place at the start of this year, around February, you would have noticed I did every match with a strapped left shoulder.
Right, yeah, I did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a torn tendon in my left shoulder. So I just kept strapping it to limit the range of motion so that it wouldn't bother me too much in the matches. But each match that I did, it was getting worse and worse and worse. And then I just had about a month off, just 1 month off, and somehow it came right. I was doing a lot of physiotherapy, a lot of yoga as well, to loosen up the ligaments and tendons, and that helped a lot, and my shoulders come right.
Oh, that's good to hear, good to hear.
So I stand here now, injury-free.
Has it been difficult coming to terms with the size differences between you and most of your opponents?
Oh, definitely. I think that's also another big factor on my in-ring style. Like you spoke about my striking. Like in terms of wrestling, I can't lift a lot of the boys who I fight. Yeah. You know, I mean, last night I was in the ring against Dave, and Dave's weighing in at 103 kilos.
Is it really?
I'm 75 kilos. Yeah. So there's a big difference here. You know, I probably could lift Dave if I gave it my all, but in saying that, I'd probably injure something else.
Yeah, it wouldn't, you know? Not worth it.
Yeah, so that's affected my style a lot. I've sort of had many situations in the ring where I've gone to pick somebody up and I've either stalled because I can't do it, or I've hurt myself doing it because it's just too much for me. So that's why I've based my style mainly on striking and high flying. You know, attacking low, attacking high.
Yeah, for sure. The NZPWI Invitational. You were in the dark match last year and in the first invite eliminator. How did it feel to get the call from Dion McCracken inviting you to be in the tournament itself this year?
Oh, that was overwhelming. That was absolutely awesome because last year, like I was saying, I was injured, so I made my comeback in August, and that was for the dark match was my comeback. And I sort of said to myself, you know, I'd really like to be in the tournament, but I'm just going to have to shut up and sit down because for the last 6 months I've been on the sideline with an injury. So you can't be out for 6 months and expect yourself to be chosen for a tournament like this, you know. So I said, all right, but next year I'm in though. I'm in for next year. That's my goal. And initially, when the brackets had been done, I was sitting there going, okay, let's see, brackets, where's my name? Okay, my name ain't there. Cool. So I just sort of kick back, chill, you know.
Yeah.
But like, what are we gonna do about this? Nah, it's all right. Just calm down, stay calm, be calm. And I was sitting at home, and I was actually, I was just chilling. I was just watching TV, and Dion calls me, and he goes, I'm hosting a tournament. Just wondered if you want to be part of it. And I was like, ha, very funny, dog, but I don't find it funny. I actually think you're pretty sick for trying to pull a joke on me like this. And he's like, Rog, I'm serious. I need you to fill a bracket in the tournament. I was like, am I on punk? What's going on? I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say to Dion. So it was great. You know, it was awesome.
Yeah. You're going to be facing an old friend in the quarterfinal, Dal Knox.
Yeah,
how do you go into a match like that? You know, friend against friend, so much at stake.
I don't know. Like, I'm a bit worried. Like, that was the kind of person who I can throw a kick as hard as I want, but on that last minute I'll pull back, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was my buddy. I mean, we started working. We used to work together like last year. We were working together. I ended up moving on to a different job, but now we still train together, and like we're training Monday to Friday. We're in the gym together every single day. We wrestle together. We're in the ring together every week. And even out of the ring, me and Dal, you know, we get together, we have chicken, we have Kool-Aid. You know, he's like, honestly, I can tell you, he's my best friend. So it's going to be difficult to not pull back on that last second when I kick him in the head, you know. And
what about him? Do you think that he would still bring you up for the knocks out if he could?
I think so. I mean, as much as we're best friends, I think we both know why we're in the ring in the first place. We met each other in the wrestling industry, but neither of us would be in the wrestling industry if we weren't in it to win it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So it just as the same way it's going to be hard for me to kick him in the head, I think it'll be hard for him to knock me out, but we'd both do it if we had to.
I think the fans can look forward to a hell of a match from the pair of you, though.
Oh, definitely. I'm looking forward to the match as well.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the other tournament competitors? Who do you think is worth watching out for?
I'm pretty wary of Cruz. I locked horns with him in the eliminator last year, and I kicked him in the back, and he wasn't looking. He was looking the other way. I kicked him in the back, and then I laughed, and then he turned around and kicked me, and I wasn't laughing no more. I was like, jeez, this dude, like he's ruthless. As far as he goes, out of the Aussie boys, he'd be the one I'd be looking out for only because I know what he's capable of. Dallas, I've never been in the ring with Dallas. But he looks pretty damn scary.
He does, doesn't he? He's huge.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. It's been great to see Ignition moving back to its original 1 hour time slot.
Yeah.
What sort of effect would you say that having a weekly show has had on the IPW roster in general?
Oh, it's been great. It basically just brings us into the fans' homes and makes us household names with the fans who are tuning in. We travel to Wellington in April. And some of the other boys travel down to Christchurch for the Armageddon shows, and the show had only been on for a matter of weeks back in April, and I remember we walked into a restaurant, and this Indian guy comes up and says, "Please, it is on the house for the IPW boys."
Nice one.
Hey, I said, "Excuse me?" He says, "Please, your choice. It is on the house." for who? He goes, Mr. Ventura. I was like, how do you know me? I'm from North Shore City, Auckland. You are in Wellington. He's like, I'm tuning into Ignition. But,
Wow.
all right, then. So I think, it's more, instead of just coming to the shows and seeing us once a month, in whichever city we are at, people are seeing us every week, and it's making us more of a household name,
For sure. I was actually covering Armageddon down here in Christchurch, and I was eavesdropping on the crowd, and I could hear them, oh, that's Johnny King, and that's Vinnie Dunn, and
yeah.
because they recognise us from TV, yeah.
That's awesome.
With the show and IPW now touring, not to mention the Invitational, what do you think of the direction New Zealand Pro Wrestling's headed in?
Oh, it's going in a good way at the moment. It's awesome. I'm loving the whole touring thing, getting to meet new fans, getting to meet new people. You gotta spread the word of your product. It doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter if you're selling toilet paper or if you're making peanut butter or if you're doing a wrestling business. If the people don't know that your product is out there, the people are not going to buy the product.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, NZ Wrestling is such a quality product. I think it's really good. It's a really good product, and fortunately, everyone's getting out there. We're doing it. We're doing shows all over. It doesn't really matter what wrestlers, what show it is. The fact that people know that there's Kiwi wrestlers out there, it's awesome. It means that we're growing. I mean, how many times have I come across somebody and I say, I'm a pro wrestler, and they say, oh, I didn't even know you fellas do that in this country. It's like, now people are finally saying, oh, you guys got to check out the Kiwi wrestlers. It's pretty awesome,
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely, I'm definitely on the up and up.
A little birdie told me that you've got a fixation with Kool-Aid. Care to elaborate?
Yeah, I actually do. Kool-Aid and chicken is my favorite beverage and my favorite food, but it's not my fault that everyone knows about that. I'll tell you how that came about. That was actually a last-minute bloody mistake. We were down in, where were we? Oh, we were up in Whangarei, and the show was about to start in 20 minutes. And someone, I don't know, one of the wrestlers was supposed to do a promo for the camera, for the TV show, and he pulled out on the last second. I don't know what happened, for whatever reason. And the camera guy grabs me and he goes, you got a loud mouth. Do a promo. I say, hey, dog, I haven't had, time to warm up. I need to, the show's starting soon. He goes, mate, do a promo. For the TV show, we need you to talk. And I said, hey, man, you can't just be coming up on me, telling me to do a promo. What am I supposed to talk about? And he goes, well, what did you do yesterday, mate? I said, I had some chicken and Kool-Aid with my boys. He goes, right, we're talking about chicken and Kool-Aid. I said, are you serious? He's like, do it. And my promo came up as chicken and Kool-Aid, and by the next show that we did, I had these little kids in the crowd going, chicken, Kool-Aid, what's a Ventura chicken, Kool-Aid? And it just grew from there. Like, everyone's always telling me about chicken and Kool-Aid, and, it's my favorite thing.
You almost put a Roger Ventura franchise on it.
Yeah, I was looking at maybe asking them for some sponsorship or something.
So what do you like to do when you're not wrestling and you're not, practicing mixed martial arts?
To be honest, I like chilling. I like appreciating my family and my friends. I spend so much time training. If I'm not in the gym doing weights or cardio, I'm in the ring doing mixed martial arts. If I'm not doing mixed martial arts, I'm wrestling. Mm-hmm. And when I'm not doing any of those, I'm on the show. I'm on the road traveling.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of family who I need to catch up with. I spend time with my parents, with my brother, with my cousins. I got a lot of cousins over here. I got cousins in Australia, in Africa still. I've got cousins in America who I haven't seen in 12 years. I've been doing a lot of spending time with them. I've been traveling a lot, spending time with all my family. And on top of all of that, I'm at uni too, so I gotta study as well.
Yeah, what are you studying at university?
Currently doing a diploma in fitness and health.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it's coming to the end of it. I'll be finishing it off this year.
Yeah.
I have a lot more time. Probably more time to train. I'll have more time, but yeah, I'm sort of at the moment juggling wrestling, university, working, training, family time.
Wow, it doesn't sound like there's any spare time at all. All the best for your diploma, by the way. You'll be coming up to the very end of it now. Exams coming up.
Yeah, coming up right to then. I'll be really happy to finish. I'm not digging these early morning starts.
Yeah.
It's like 7 a.m. lectures and whatnot. It's like, damn, let me sleep, dog.
Of all the wrestlers wrestlers in the world, alive or dead, who do you most look up to?
Probably there'd be two, but if I had to choose one...
Well, who are the two? Who are the two?
Two would be Loki and Mr. Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been the biggest influence on me. Rey was my first big influence. When I first started wrestling, when I was 14, Rey was just coming into WWE. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of talk, like some of the boys who were training in the wrestling gym at the time, in NPW, they were like, at the time I was 14, I was 5'4", they were like, look man, you're not going to get anywhere. I'm not trying to be stink, but you know, you're going to have to go on some like serious drugs if you want to get anywhere. And I went, well, you know, says who? Look at Rey.
Yeah. Look
what Rey's doing. And they're just like, well, and I'm like, yeah, shut your ass up. You know, so Rey's sort of the person who made me say, when everyone would say, you're too small to be a wrestler, I'd say, well, how do you explain Rey?
Yeah.
And then people would sort of, you know, stall.
And he's not the only one. I mean, you've got Petey Williams over in TNA. You know,
Petey Williams, you know, we've got Jamie Noble. Jamie Noble is just awesome. He's off the chains.
And Brian Kendrick.
And in saying that, that's where Loki comes in. I mean, you know, he's also only 5'7".
Yeah.
You know, so when I came across Loki, I thought, you know, here's another guy who's only 5'7", and I was like, well, here we go. Here's another guy who's just had a massive influence on me, and especially with my interest in MMA, you know, that's what brought me even closer to the style of Loki. I really like Loki's style, the way he handles himself in the ring, the way he presents himself to the crowd. Mm-hmm. The same can be said for Rey. That's what it's two of them I'd say definitely have had the biggest influence on me.
So who would be your ultimate dream match? Would it be one of those two?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I say it's hard to nail down to one, because with my style, I'm a high flyer and a striker. I'd really like to go up against Rey, one-on-one, high-flying galore.
Yeah.
And I'd really like to go up against Loki, strong style, stiff to the max, you know?
Yeah. What does the future hold for Roger Ventura?
Oh, who knows? I know where I want to go. I don't know where I'm going to go, you know. Yesterday's always gone. You never promise tomorrow. But every year, I'd like to take what I have and make it bigger and bigger. You know, ever since I've started wrestling, I've made it bigger and bigger each year. You know, I've gone from not even getting a match on the card to getting a match on the card, to main eventing, to winning the title, to traveling, to going national, fighting in many cities, you know, that I've never even knew are around. You know, being from Africa, mm-hmm. I was like, Hamilton? What is this place? You know, saw it and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. I rang, you know, my family back home. I was like, hey, y'all got to check this place out, Hamilton. You know, they say, we're going to Wellington. Like, what the hell is that? You know, call my family back home. Hey, y'all got to check this place out called Wellington. You know, like, yeah. And it's been really good. And my family back home in Africa, you know, they're like, oh, Roger, you are doing all this traveling. It is great, you know. And I'm just like, oh, well, you know, you can thank wrestling. Taking me everywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, my next step would be international. You know, take the name and go overseas, do a bit of fighting overseas. Eventually, I wanna break into the States, and you know, once you get into the States, who knows how it's gonna blossom. A million things can happen. For sure.
Well, Roger, thank you so much for your time today. Like I say, we really appreciate you spending the time with us. All the best for the Invitational next month.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you very much.